when you know they know about narcissism. Think about that for a minute. So you're now learning about narcissism. You're also learning many people don't know what you know. You see, you are one of the people who has been through the cycle. You're one of the people who was understanding and acquiring the wisdom. As you're growing and you're learning and you're getting stronger and you're understanding so much about your mindset, about empathy, about narcissism, about toxicity, and about human behavior, as you're learning, other people are still stuck. Other people are still trapped. Most of these people will never get the wisdom. They will never understand what you are learning. This is why when you're healing, it can be a very, and I do mean very, lonely experience, because so many people post-narcissistic relationship at the hands of the narcissist and otherwise will be removed from your life. And these people, some of them were toxic, some of them perhaps were casualties of the relationship, but all of them were in your life for a period of time. And they're in it until they're not. This is why I'm sharing so much information, and I have been doing so for 5+ years, and I'll continue to do it by creating videos each and every day for you to understand that you're different than everybody else. I've shared this ad nauseum for years in videos, and I'll share it again, and I'm gonna go over here to get out of the sunlight. Hopefully this is better. This is your fingerprint. It makes you you, it's your identity. The narcissists tried to steal that from you, and they tried to erase this and you. Now, they had accomplished this with other people in the past, but they couldn't accomplish it with you, which is something you need to understand. First of all, you're different than all the other people that aren't here. But second of all, the narcissists took their swings at you, meaning their left jabs, their upper crosses, their punches right to the nose. These are not literal, these are figurative examples. They did everything they possibly could do to you to destroy your life. Now, you didn't know this way back when. You weren't taught this in school, so how could you realize that the person who claimed that they loved you, or claimed that they cared about you, or actually maybe even married you, or whatever the relationship was, turned out to be your worst nightmare? That's the narcissist. They never cared about you. They never loved you. They don't care about anybody. They don't love anybody. What they want is they want access to people. And what you are doing, just like I've done, you're going to begin to deny access, but not just to one person. You will figure this out if you haven't already. It starts with one person. Yes, the apex predator, the narcissist. Once you figure out who they are and you wrap your head around what they did to you and how they did it and how long the relationship lasted and all those nuances, then you inevitably will go down different rabbit holes of education and exploration. And I can assure you, you will start with your immediate family, then your siblings and your cousins and your neighbors and your colleagues, coworkers, your best friends, anyone you went into business with, your old roommates, your college associations, and more. And you will begin to figure out, because this is the natural trajectory of anyone, and I do mean anyone who is healing post-narcissistic relationship. Even if you wanted to, you can't stop this. This is what happens with every single one of us. And these are things that very few people ever will understand. So if you want to continue to acquire nuggets of wisdom, watch this video in its fullest, watch it to the end, and I'll drop more nuggets of wisdom on you. You need to understand that I was in the cycle. I was trapped, I was helpless, I was naive, I was broken, I was captured. I was flailing for years. But what happened? Well, the discard happened, and I figured it out very quickly. Within 3 weeks-ish, I figured it out. The rest is history. This is what you're doing or you've done. And as you're healing, you're getting stronger. As you're getting stronger, this person's getting weaker. As they're getting weaker, you're realizing that very few people understand what you know. This is why, and I've shared this so often in videos, although not as much recently, what you have acquired is a different language. This is the language that I speak, which means this. I can finish your sentence in a second. You may think I can't. I can. All I need is a couple details of where you are in the journey and who a couple moving parts are, and I can figure it out. It's very simple, because I was where you are, or I was where you were, or I am where you're going to be. Play that all again. You see, once you're in the cycle and once you're out and you heal and heal properly, this is a newfound superpower, and it's a superpower on steroids. And once you wrap your head around that, and this is just one of so many steps you'll have to take Don't think that these are daunting. Don't think that you can't accomplish them. You will. I did it. If I did it, you can do it. You need to believe in yourself the way I believe in you. You need to be patient with yourself. You need to practice stoicism. You need to be centered. You need to learn to not overshare information. And above all, you need to recognize that the narcissist never cared about you. So the sooner you go no contact, get off the radar of the narcissist, the better off you will be. If you can't do it right now, I understand. Get ready to create, develop, and execute your exit plan. But when you wrap your head around the fact, just in the first 5 minutes or so that I've shared with you, I've already unpacked at least 6 different nuggets of wisdom. I'm going to unpack a big one for you right here. As you're healing and getting stronger, you're recognizing that not only fewer and fewer people speak your language. I'm not talking English or Spanish or whatever language you speak. I'm talking this newfound superpower. You will figure out that you can't have high-level conversations about humanity, about what you went through, or about narcissism or toxicity with people unless they went through it. You will figure that out if you haven't. Now, pause. I'm going to put all that on the side for a quick moment. The narcissist, they have a sixth sense, a predatory sense. It's an instinct. It's a killer instinct, and I did mean to say that because the narcissist doesn't want anybody who is an empath or anybody who has what they have, or what the narcissist doesn't want anyone that has what they don't have to exist, which is why the narcissist does so much damage to people. But having said all those things, when a narcissist encounters another one, they can recognize each other extremely quickly. I'm going to take you back in time years ago. Never shared this in a video. I'll share it right now. I was at a location. I'm not going to get into the details, but I was in a location with what I didn't know back then to be narcissists, plural. And there were 5 parties. I was the 6th party. I was one person, but of the other 5 people, 3 were toxic, 2 weren't. And then there was me. Again, I was in the center. I was the glue that kept all these people together. I was the connection that kept everyone together, and I hope you're following. Well, the main person that I was connected to back then, when they met the other 2 people who I used to work with, these 3 people, these are the toxic people. Again, I didn't know this, but these 3 people looked at each other almost as if it was a showdown at the OK Corral. They stared at each other. They had never met each other. They looked right at each other, all 3 of them. And then they sized each other up. And within a split second, they didn't laugh. They didn't grin. They didn't smirk. They just stared. And they really, really pulled themselves in. In other words, they weren't excited. Like, oh, it's so great to meet you. How are you? What's going on? It's so pleasure to meet. No. It was as if they knew immediately already who the other 2 people were. That has stuck in my mind until this very moment, and it will forever because I'll probably tap into it again at a later date creating videos. But why I'm sharing that is back then, that stayed with me. I could not figure out how these 3 people, remember there were 6 people, I was the 6th. The other 2 were healthy and stable. But the other 3, they knew each other without even meeting each other, and they had never met, and that is a fact. But they knew who each other were. I could never figure that out, but now I know, which is why I'm creating this video and paying it forward with you. So when you wrap your head around the fact that not only do they have a killer instinct, a predatory instinct, I'm talking about the narcissist, but that they were drawn to you like a moth to a flame, and they wanted to extinguish said flame within you and extinguish you. When you wrap your head around that, that's all you need to know. Get away from these people as fast as you can and as far away as possible. But having said that, with the illustration I just shared that happened years ago, now I'm going to fast forward to present day. Let's talk about you. Now, let's say you've healed or you're healing and you've gone no contact, blocked the narcissist, you've done everything that you need to do. Now you're in a coffee shop, or you're on an airplane or a bus, or you're at a seminar or an event, or you're in a class, or you're at work, wherever you are, and you're talking with an average everyday person who perhaps you've never had a deep conversation with. Just a person though. So you don't know them. They're, let's say, an acquaintance, or maybe not even. And the 2 of you strike up a conversation. Remember, this person you don't know that well, but they're not the narcissist. And you're talking. And next thing you know, you say something, and then they pick it up like that. In other words, they understand what you're talking about quickly. And then you're like, whoa, what was that? I'm not used to this. You're not saying this to the person, you're thinking it. You're thinking, how did they know that? I just said something and they seem to pick it up kind of quickly. Well, then what do? You test a little bit more. Now, originally you weren't testing, but now that somebody is showing you that perhaps they may know what you know, or they may know a little bit of what you know about, then maybe you say something else to them. And I really hope you're following this part of the video. You say something else, and then what do? They don't just nod their head and say yes, or they actually give you something back. They share some information again. And then you are like, wow, wait. In your mind, you're thinking, wait, this person may have been through something. And then the two of you continue to talk, and let's say that the conversation goes a little bit longer than it was you were prepared to have it, and next thing you know, you figure out that that person also has been to hell and back in some form, in some way, shape, form, or capacity. Now, did they go into the details with you? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not, but maybe they did. I don't know. But what I'm trying to tell you is that there are many people out there now, there are many people, and I'm one of them, who have been in the cycle, made it out, healed, made it out in one piece, gone no contact, blocked the narcissist, maintained their huge open heart, maintained their empathy, maintained their commitment to humanity, and maintained their integrity, but now have a newfound purpose and a newfound trajectory and direction of paying it forward and helping other people out. When you realize that, then you say to yourself, oh my gosh, it isn't just me that has boundaries. It isn't just me that went through the cycle. There are other people out there, but they're not shouting from the rooftops. They're not screaming that I was abused by the narcissist, on and on and on. These kind of experiences, if you haven't had one yet, I can assure you, you will. And I can't tell you when. I can't necessarily say in the very near future, because it probably won't be in the very near future. But in the future, I can assure you this will happen with you. Again, passing conversation. I'll give you a different example. The same thing, a different example. Say you're by yourself. You're in a restaurant having dinner or lunch, and you just hear a conversation. Waiter, waitress, people at the next table, whoever, and they're talking about something. You can read their energy now. You don't just listen to what they're saying. You listen to the way they're saying their words, and you listen and you hear the conversation taking place. Now, are you eavesdropping? No, you're sitting there grabbing your lunch or dinner. People are talking, you just happen to be listening. That's what going out and having dinner or lunch is all about. But when you can understand just from listening to people's words, you don't even have to see those people. You can read the energy and you can say, wait a minute, these people are higher level. They're not having an average everyday conversation about, let's say, sports or about weather or about other things that are boring and mundane. They're talking about higher level things. This is what happens when people like you, and certainly like me, heal and put ourselves back together. When we rise through the ashes like a phoenix, dust ourselves off by the bootstraps and heal and kick these toxic people to the curb. We are scattered all over the planet. I am one of them. We are what I call, and you can call them whatever you want. You can call them nodes of light, N-O-D-E-S of light. I call us beautiful, bright, shining lights. Whatever you want to call us is what you can call us, but we are getting stronger. Our light is shining brighter. We are not shouting from the rooftops. We are not screaming and kicking and smearing and exposing toxicity. What we're doing is living our best lives, and we are choking out, metaphorically, narcissism. We're not giving it attention. We're not giving it the time of day. We're not falling for the same old boring yawn playbook that the narcissist has been playing by. It's so antiquated. It's so boring. It's so old. And you know what the beauty of that book is that we now know what it is. We know every single page, line by line, heart by heart, and we all know it ends at page 666. That's the last page of the book. There will never be another page written. And for eons, centuries, the ethos, the narcissists, plural, have tried to rewrite that book, but they can never, ever, ever be able to master a newer edition of what was written thousands of years ago. But the beauty of everything I'm sharing with you is when you know someone knows about narcissism, that's a superpower. When you can read energy, that's a superpower. When you know what narcissism is because you're in the cycle, you're out, you've healed, you're not trapped, you've gone no contact, you're living your best life, that's a superpower. And when you encounter other people who've been, let's say, in the narcissistic abusive cycle, or maybe they went through something else, but they're now different, they've changed, they're calm, they're stoic, they're centered, they use their words very appropriately, very patiently, very selectively, like I do, then you realize, how did that person get that way? You know how we got that way? By going to hell and back and making it out in one piece. I have done that. You have done that. And there are so many billions of us who have done that. The difference between you and your average person on the planet is you have the wisdom. What will you do with the wisdom? Will you use it and utilize it to insulate, protect, and benefit not only you, but those loved and trusted ones around you like I do? Yes, you will. Or will you just think that you're stronger than you are and maybe not block the narcissist and say, no big thing, I know what's going on, I know everything, and I'll just leave it open, I can handle them, it's no big thing. No, no, no. Don't tempt fate. Don't leave any avenue of communication open with the narcissist. Do not ever, and I mean ever, look back in the rearview mirror. Close the chapter of the book on the narcissist once and for all. Do not give toxicity a second chance. And in the future, I can assure you, you will meet people who have been through something. Maybe it's narcissism, maybe it's something else, but the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they really, really are confident or centered around themselves. I'm not talking about narcissism. I'm talking about people who have boundaries. I'm one, you're one. When you meet those people, you will say, wait, there's something different about this person. What's different? Now you know. What you know is that there were so many of us trapped in the narcissistic abusive cycle, and truth be told, a lot of us never made it out. Some are still stuck, pining, wondering what happened and blaming themselves. Then there's you. Then there's me. We're out. We've healed. And now we can do what we need to do to insulate, protect ourselves, and help the common consciousness of the planet, which means help other empaths, help other people who are trapped. That's what you need to do. So pay attention to how you use your words. Pay attention to how other people use their words. And remember, not everything is how it appears to be on this planet called Earth. And many people are not who they claim to be. They may have the highest accolades. They may have the most popular, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't mean they know what you know. And I'll tell you right now, they don't know what I know. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the super hot, about to rain Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. I love you all. And I'll talk with you tomorrow. I'm going to say one line 3 different times, then I'm going to close the video after I give you a couple nuggets of wisdom. 1, remember this. You are not alone. You are not alone. You may feel alone. You're not alone. I'm here with you. The community is here with you. We are all here with you. Energetically, spiritually, we are connected. All of us are here for you. So remember that. And number 2, as this thumbnail mentioned, when you know that others know about narcissism, that's in reference to not only narcissism, it's virtually with anything you could apply it with. When somebody goes through a challenge in their life, I'm talking a real life and death challenge, and they make it out, then they are changed. They're transformed forever. That's the way it works. But with narcissism, it's a little bit different. Those rules apply, but now your belief in humanity is completely different. And now the way you communicate with people is completely different. And now the way you use your 1,440 minutes a day is completely different. You see, you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unhear what you've heard, and you cannot unexperience what you've experienced. That's why post-narcissistic relationship, when you know that someone knows about narcissism, all it takes is a couple quick words, a look in the eye, and you can say to yourself, yep, they've been through something. Do you need to know what it is? No, you don't. You really don't. What you need to know is whoever that person is, they made it out, and they're now living their best life, and they don't need to explain, defend, or communicate, but they're here, just like me, and just like you. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. And remember, huge heart, huge virtual hug for you. You are not alone. I am here with you. The community's here with you. We love you. We cherish you. We honor you. We are grateful that you are here. Continue to focus on yourself, control what you can control, and stay in the high vibrational state. Make sure you remove all toxicity from your life today, if not now, when? Love y'all. Talk with you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Yes, and I said y'all.